Okay, we are solving equations that have parentheses involved with the grouping, so we'll have to use the distributive property, and we'll look at several problems here. So let's get this started. The method you probably want to use now is just to distribute. We have 8 groups of x minus 2, which means there'll be 8 x's and negative 16. And we can do that the same on the other side as well. 2 groups of 2 minus x, so we're going to have 4 minus 2x. Now we can just go to our flipping and switching here. I'm going to flip, let's put the x's on the left side, so I'm going to flip so that my x's are on the left, which gives me 10x minus 16 equals 4, and I can flip the 16 to the other side by adding it to both sides. And then we want to solve for x, so we don't want 10 times x, we just want 1, so we're going to divide. So that means x must have been 2. Okay. Just want to make sure that I didn't have any errors there, so I'm going to put 2 back in for x and see if that actually made my equation true. And 2 minus 2 order of operations is 0. Same both sides, so 0 times, so it does come out to be true. 0 does equal 0, so x needs to equal 2. So that's my answer. So let's look at another problem. Similar problem. We have parentheses. Now we have to be careful here. This is what we have to be careful about right here. If we remember, if you have a negative out front, the group inside needs to switch as well. We need to take the opposite. So we're going to just leave the 4y alone for now. We're going to multiply by negative 2. All right. So we're going to double and take the opposite. So we get negative 12. Now negative times the negative, this is going to flip and become positive 2y. Now that only happens when there's a negative out front. If that was positive out front, we would not have to do the flipping. Obviously the 6 over here is unaffected. Combine our like terms, we got 4y and 2y, so 6y minus 12 equals 6. Some flipping and switching. Divide by the 6, y will equal 3. Once again, let's quickly check that. So wherever I see a y, I want to put a 3. So my left side needs to come out to be 6. So 12. That turns order of operations there. And it does look like it will come out to be true on both sides. So y equals 3 is the solution that makes it true. All right, so now here we have what you notice over here. We can distribute this. So let's do that. X times 2x is 2x squared. X times negative 4 is negative 4x. But now here we have a binomial, all right, times another binomial, written as a product. I think if we rewrite this as a sum, we'll be able to figure this out. So I'm going to use our generic rectangle. They give us the product, so that's length times width, and fill in our length times width, just multiplying through. And so the inside is our sum, and if you notice right away, I like to combine those like terms right away. So the inside is 2x squared. I have an x and a 10x, so that's 11x plus the 5. Now if you notice here, we can get rid of those. All right, same on both sides, so we'll just take them off both sides, leaving negative 4x to equal 11x plus 5. I'm going to actually get my x's on the left side. Okay. Now, tempting here, because most people want to do 15 divided by 5, because that gives you a nice 3, but we want to get rid of the negative 15 to get x by itself. So actually what we get is, this is a fraction here. Alright, we could use our calculator to divide that, but we could get a repeating decimal, which is not always the nicest. So we're just going to reduce that fraction to 1 over 3. Alright, so our answer is negative 1/3. As with the previous problems, we could plug that in to double check that is the right answer. But for sake of time, we are going to go to our last problem here. Alright, this is different because we have two variables. If you notice, we got a p right here, sorry, and a q right here. So we want to solve for one of the variables. Now, keep in mind, we cannot get a single number answer because we have two variables. So we're just going to solve for p, which means get the p's together and then alone. So we want p equals something. Alright, so once again, I need to distribute. So let's do that again. So 6 minus 2q plus 6p, because we're flipping because of the negative, equals 4p. Now I actually notice it's going to be easier to get my p's on the right side, which is fine. So I will do that. So I almost have p by itself. I have to do one last thing. I don't want negative 2p's. I want just one. So I'm going to divide everything by negative 2. Just going to reduce everything. Whatever you do to the right side, do the left side. And we have to do it to all our terms. So we have just solved for p. Some people like to have the solve variable on one side with the other terms on the right side. So a lot of times you will see it like that. So I hope that helps solving equations with some distribution, with using a generic rectangle.